All right. Welcome to the last session of the day. After a full day of technical sessions, probably I've heard a lot of technical stuff. A little bit more of a soft topic about teams, about a team playbook. Who have heard about the Alaskan team playbook here? 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay, good. So for most of you, it's a pretty new. So I will just explain it to you what the team playbook is and how it helps teams to do more self-guided, self-driven stuff. But first about myself, you probably noticed I'm not with Atlassian, I'm with K15T. But I've been working 7 years for Atlassian and brought the playbook to life. So all the stories are from my time at Atlassian. And now I'm working for K15T as a team advocate and bringing also team practices into that company. So, but my story starts actually way before that. Back in 1999, when I graduated from university, I was a young, eager, new employee of a company and want to write software. So what they taught us back in the 90s in the university was a methodology called the Waterfall Process, right? Really, we had software engineering and people were saying, this is the way to go. This is the way how you develop software. So I came into this new company and wrote my requirements document, did my coding, did my testing, and showed it then to the customers. And then the customers complained. So I went back to the requirements document. You know that. I mean, when you're longer in this business, you probably have worked this way. 2, it's a very frustrating way. So I was really frustrated and said, this is not going to work out. Somehow, nothing's get done. I have to always, my customers are not happy, I'm not happy, too long cycles, doesn't fit for software development. So luckily, I was not the only one. So in 2004, I discovered Scrum. Agile was a thing at that time. Everyone wanted to Agile, and I discovered Scrum and said, wow, this is so cool. This solves all my problems, you know? It's more, everything is more transparent. We have short iterations, 1-month iterations, great, instead of having a 1-year cycle with a good old waterfall process. That was something. So I thought, really, this is really the unicorn. This is so cool. But then after time, I thought, we need to change something here. And I was not the only one that thought, okay, it doesn't really work for everything. Of course not, because teams are different, projects are different. So there were coming some more methodologies up in the agile space. So like Kanban, right? Kanban was pretty popular, or is still pretty popular. Enterprise Unified Process, or scaling teams, right? Scaled agile frameworks. So have more agile teams in a big organization. How do we coordinate that? So for every different team, different organization, there was a methodology all of a sudden, and that's probably okay. So this was just a few of those here that came up. You probably used some of those. So it is really a fit for every team. There need be some methodology, but the thing is, actually, 18 years after the Agile Manifesto, there's so much out there, which is probably okay because there's so much different things, different teams out there. But people are just grabbing that and said, "Wow, this is the way to go." Squadification, Spotify, this is the way we should do it too. And then they find out they're not working like Spotify. So let's take a step back, right, and see what was really the core here. What is really the core of Agile? Right? It's constant changing stuff. Things doesn't work, we can change it. We do short iterations and we can change it. What do we need in order to do this? We need to empower the team. The team has to be empowered. They have to make their own decisions for their products, for their projects. They're making their own decisions, not a big product committee setting up and deciding everything. The team has to make the decisions. They need to be empowered to make the decisions. Otherwise, cycles get too long. So, rapid change, team needs to be empowered, but also you need the right people in the team. You need to have the right team structure in order to do that. I mean, in the good old days, we had all these separate roles, where there were developers, operation guys, testers, and we were just throwing things over the wall. We know that this doesn't really work, and we know that. Nowadays, things are more diverse, so we have more cross-functional teams, and and roles are more overlapping. The designer has to understand the developer. The developer has to understand the ops guys. We're sitting all together on one boat. Today, we build it and we own it. If something goes wrong in production or in operation, we also, as developer, have to fix things. It's not the operation person that just does it. We are also responsible. We are all responsible for what's running there. So said that is different diverse teams, cross-functional teams, whatever you call this, is great. But then at the same time, there are different kind of teams, right? So they have these very organized teams that know their shit. They actually go to a meeting. They are wrapping up 5 minutes before the end of the meeting, making a task list, go back and meet again the next day. Very, very structured. They have their processes in order. And then there are other teams, like very, very unstructured teams. They're very chaotic. They discuss things. They never write anything down. So which team is actually now a high-performance team? This is a question that Google has asked their teams. So, okay, we're making an investigation here. We are looking at our teams and see what is really the secret of these high-performance teams. So what they found out in that called Project Aristotle, they found out that both teams can actually be high-performance teams. They found very, very structured teams that were high-performance and very, very unstructured teams that were doing a great stuff and were very high-performance. So teams are actually different. Keep that in mind. And then also not the teams are different, also the projects are different. If you develop something for a Mars landing mission, right, develop software for that, you can't shoot a rocket into Mars every day, right, and try it out and say, oh, fail, next rocket. That's not working, right? You have to have very, very serious test environment in place and a lot of security gates and stuff like that. But if you're doing a dog tracking app or something like that, right? And believe me, this is really a thing. I've been living in San Francisco for a year, and people already have dog tracking apps. There are dog walkers walking your dog during the day when you work, and people are looking at the app and seeing where their dog take a poo. That's really a thing. So if you develop that apps, you can probably update this app every day. If you find a bug, the app is not working, no problem. You update it the next day, the app is working again. Great. So you need different processes to develop these different projects, right? So sum this up here. We have different teams, and the other thing is we have different projects. And now companies are actually saying, okay, yeah, wow, we do the same process, right? It's the same developing process for every team, for every project that we're doing. Does that really work? Really? So I've been working for a lot of projects, and it's never this one line from beginning to end. A process can just say how you react when you know what's happening. So, but what is if the unknown happens? You don't know. There's no process for that, right? And also this is a very simplified version of how a project should run in small iterations. It's good, but it's not the reality. The reality looks much more like this. You're running in one direction, and then you find out, oh, no, that's not working. You have to go back. You have to make decisions, wrong decisions, turn it back. So this is how projects really run. It's a very unpredictable thing. You can't predict it. And processes, you have to know what's happening to put a process in place. But projects are very unpredictable. Atlassian has actually embraced that and said, okay, this is how projects run. So what we do is we have self-driven teams, we empower the teams, and we set up the right structure. And now go from idea to product. Let's go. And then figure out the best way how to tackle that for your team. And then something happened. Because actually we saw patterns. People were running in the same problem during their projects and solved it. So, for example, there was a team in the Jira team that actually lacked alignment with the leadership. So leadership said, we don't get updates. What's happening? So what they set up is they did a demo trust. It's a meeting that they did once a week, 15 minutes. They invited the leadership team and say, hey, this is what we're doing. So the leadership team got aligned to what the team is doing and saw it and could give feedback, right? And then all of a sudden, the team next door, the other Jira team, were doing the same thing because they had the same problem, and the Confluence team was doing it. So all of a sudden we had this demo trust spread over the company. And then our enablement team that enables our teams at Atlassian, they saw, okay, great, if we see all these small patterns, let's put that together. Let's write them down and mature them so they fit for everyone. So they took these small little bits, they call it plays, and put it into a book. Well, it was actually a Confluence page, but they called it the Team Playbook. So this is where the Team Playbook got born, around 2015. And then they matured all the plays. They said, okay, let's work together on it. We mature the plays. And in 2017, they said, oh, wow, great. It's helping Atlassian so much to get over some hurdles in projects. So why don't we give it just to the world for free? So that's what they did. Atlassian-teamplaybook.com. There's at the moment 26 different plays on the Team Playbook. Go there and try them out with your team. So this is where the Team Playbook came to life, to the world. Let me explain to you a little bit what plays are. I brought 5 plays with me, so bear with me, and I explain to you, just give you some example plays here. So play number 1 is all about what I mostly struggle in my projects, or in my team actually, is setting priorities. Because setting priorities is like, if you're doing software, the designers say, hey, we need a better user experience. This really needs to be updated, so we need a better user experience. Okay, you write it down on your priority list, user experience. But then the management comes and say, well, we just had a management meeting, and we decided Project X is the most important project for the company. Really, it's driving our revenue. So Project X has to be priority 1 here. Let's do that. And then the developer says, well, before we actually improve the user experience, we want a new front-end technology. It's very old, it's not used anymore, and we want a new front-end technology. Okay, we write that down also, and then, of course, sales comes and says, well, this customer feature, for this customer, we need that. Actually, I already sold this customer feature to the customer, so we really have to do it, right? You know how it goes. And then your priority list is done, is ready, so you can go and develop, right? This is your priority list. But then, of course, it's not done, because management comes and say, oh, we just had another management meeting, and you know what? Project Z and Y are much more important than Project X. We're doing it now. So how do you prioritize? Where's your big goal? Where does it all this lead to? And there's a play in the playbook that can help you with that. It's called OKRs. OKRs is not a thing that Atlassian invented. It's actually something that goes way back in the time of Intel, when they developed the 8086 microprocessor. In that time, actually, Motorola had a microprocessor out, and Intel had to react fast. They had to come up with something really fast. So what they did is actually they put down their goals in OKRs. That was the first time that OKRs were used. And in 16 months, they got from idea to the final product in 16 months. And actually, Motorola couldn't react so fast. So they really won the market there. But not only Intel was using it, also Google is using OKRs heavily in their organizations. They're setting their goals with OKRs. And if you talk to Googlers, they say Google Maps or Gmail wouldn't have been so successful if they wouldn't have OKRs in place. So what are OKRs now? Okay, it's an acronym, and it stands for objectives on one end and key results on the other side. So objectives are the big things. So they really set your direction. So what teams do is they want to track something that's visionary. It really sets your direction. And it should always, an objective should always cover something, an outcome for the customer, if possible. So think about what's the benefit here for the customer. This is what an objective should cover. And then also, we're doing objective OKRs every quarter. So limit the scope. 2 to 3 objectives is way enough for the team to work on. There's other stuff going on, like bug fixing and things come up. So just take the big ones, the big goals that you want to reach in a quarter, and write that down in objectives. So, and then each objective comes with different key results. And key results define really the output, the outcome of the objective. How can we measure the success? So 1 to 3 key results per objective, maybe more, also possible, but please limit it to just see your statistics, how you're doing with the objective. Also, try not to do binary. Yeah, we released the software in February. We don't release the software. That's not good. Try to come up with a measurable number, so you can measure how much people you got using the new software, something like that. And then try to cover the ambitious goals, right? If you think, okay, I can get, I don't know, 1,000 daily users on my mobile app. Just try to, okay, what if we get 1,500 daily users on the mobile app? That would be a stretch. So let's set that goal. It's a little bit, it's still possible, but it's very, very ambitious. So try to aim for ambitious goal. Okay, just give you an example. For example, for the Jira team would be something like that the user can skim faster through the product through the backlog, which is pretty big. So let's skim through the backlog. A key result could be that 10,000 items, the backlog loads, the time reduced to load this backlog will be reduced by 80%. That could be a key result that you want to set up. Could be other key results too, but let's put it with one key result here. So key result be reduced by 80%. And at the end of the quarter, you're measuring. You're seeing, okay, how did we do? And then you measure and you reduced it by 64%. Bam, goal not reached, right? Well, you score it between 1 and 0, and if it's between 0.7 and 1.0, you reach the goal. As I said, these are ambitious goals. They should stretch us. 1.0 would be, wow, this is awesome, this is great. But 0.8 is actually pretty good. 0.7 would be also right. If you're below that, well, you should look at why didn't you reach that goal. There are probably good reasons, and learn from it, and put that learning into the next quarter. If you just have 1.0s, your goals weren't ambitious enough, right? So you can't reach 1.0 on all your key results. That's not possible. Shouldn't be. Also, some learning. Next time, set more ambitious goals. Okay. And it's not just like you're defining it at the beginning of the quarter, check it in at the end of the quarter. You're doing in between, doing some check-ins. Each month you're doing a check-in, a forecast. How do we feel like at the end of the quarter, how our key results look like, our scores? So very confident at the first month, not so confident at the second month, and then the final scores are right. So what we do is we put that, of course, Confluence, and then we have our monthly check-ins in there. And the thing is, this is a very transparent thing. So we keep those pages open so everyone can see what the team has put on their OKRs. So everyone can see what's the goals from the team next door, what's the goals from the design team, what the goals of the leadership team, what the goals of the founders, right? You can see everyone's goals are out there and very, very transparent, and helps you to define your goals. Now go and do OKRs, right? Well, it's a little bit like showing you this dish, let you try this dish and say, oh yeah, that tastes good, and then I say, now cook it. So I can't, I'm not a chef, I can't cook it, it's delicious and it's good, but I don't know how to put it together, right? It's a little bit like saying to you, now do OKRs. But there's a solution for that, because people have written books about it and putting recipes in, and I can just be Jamie Oliver, or trying to be Jamie Oliver, and then just cook it like Jamie Oliver would cook it, and it's probably not as good as Jamie Oliver's dish, but I can just try to be there and try to make it, and then I can also mix it and make it my own. This is actually the same with the plays in the playbook. We've written them down so you can follow this recipe. You see there's an overview here. Then there are some kind of ingredients, what you need for this. And then there's a simple step-by-step guide that guides you through the OKRs, from setting the stage to doing your OKR session. So you can just follow this guide and write down your OKRs, right? But always remember, make it your own, right? Mix it up. It's just like how it works for Atlassian. It's probably not how it works for you. Okay, play number 2. And play number 2 is about this here. I was a developer team lead, and we had some kind of a new developer on the team working there for 1 month. And I said to this developer, so we need a dashboard for the customers to see their statistics. So we had a card for it. We had to put it in Jira. We had a card on our board and said, hey, you can do that. Just put it there. And then I thought it should look a little bit like this here. This would be the statistic for the customer to show it. That is what I thought this person should do. And then in the stand-up, this person said, yeah, I'm working on it. It's great. It's going to be incredible. It's cool. It's good. And after 1 week, you get this feeling like, I don't know if this person is really heading in the right direction, but you don't want to say anything and say, show it to me. But then after 1.5 weeks, say, okay, come on, show it to me what you have done. Say, oh, it's not ready yet. I'm still working on it, but I'm almost done. And then after 2 weeks, it comes up and say, here is what I did. Is that great? So that's not what I thought, right? So we had actually different things in mind, and it's sometimes not working between persons, but it's even worse when you're working together, when 2 teams work together. We had that at Atlassian, that 2 teams in different locations worked on the same project. And the teams, of course, they have set up everything. They had their OKRs set up, so they knew the goals. They had their stand-ups together. They had Jira, so they knew which tickets they should work on. Great aligned team, you think, right? But then it was very frustrating. The team was very frustrated because nothing got really done. And they had always long discussions, and the other team didn't understand the opinion of the other team, vice versa. So it was very, very frustrating until the team came together and then discussed what is actually the goal of this project. And one team said, oh, yeah, the goal is to make this software better perform, right? Make it faster for the customer, for our current customers. And the other team said, wait. The goal is that we got more customers to our service. And then it was clearly they were working on the same feature set, but disaligned. They hadn't the same goal. They didn't know what the problem was they were solving. They were solving different problems. And of course, this is a problem, right? So talking about that, this is another play. Or coming on literally on the same page with a so-called project poster. And it's a very, very simple one, but it's really, we should talk more not about the solution that we have in mind. We should talk more about the problem that we want to solve. And that helps really people to get on the same boat, to get to work in the same direction. And this is what the problem poster helps you with. So think about the problem, the really big, hairy problem. Why do we want to solve it? What's the reason? What's the customer problem? What's the validation data? What solutions could we offer the customer? And it's pretty simple, but I've been running the project poster now, I think, in 3 projects, and it's always fascinating to talk with the team and say, hey, write down your project in a project poster. And then the team comes, oh, yeah, we should think about what's the real problem is here that we want to solve, because they always have the solution in mind. So project poster is a pretty simple thing. You write down, why are we doing it? But it's just a guideline that came out of hundreds of projects with Atlassian to optimize that, to bring the team literally on the same page. So this is a simple project poster for simplified dashboard. You can see here the possible solutions that the people want to solve, what they already know, some data collected. So everything is on one page for this project, and then the scale and scope, and so on and so on. What it helped the team is to, as I said, to align. As you see, the two teams that didn't really work together that well, now they are aligned again and know what they are working for. So it helps the team to align, to get on the same page. But not only that, a project process also helps you to talk about your project because it's out there in the open. So first thing, keep it up to date. This is always something that I see, old project process not updated, not up to date. Keep it up to date. And you saw the status here, that this is done. Something is in draft mode still, and something is in progress. That's fine. You don't have to figure out everything in the beginning, but keep that up to date as you go along with your project. And then you can point people to that project poster and say, look at the project poster. Here's everything is on there. I don't want to explain the project anymore. And also, if you get new people in the project, you say, okay, this is what we're working on. So to align the people. Okay, play number 3. Play number 3 has to do with a little bit with that person here. I don't ask you if you know who that is. You probably don't know. Even if I show you the name, it's Jürgen Spangl. It's Atlassian's head of design, right? But you probably know that person here, Steve Jobs. So what do these two persons have in common? They both have a clicker in their hand. I heard that before. But they wear the same outfit. Both wear jeans and a black shirt, right? And not only that they wear the same outfit, they actually, Steve Jobs has and Jürgen does, wear the same outfit every day. Why that? Why that? Why are they doing that, right? Why are they putting on a black shirt and a jeans? Well, Jürgen put some shorts on in the Australian summertime, but same outfit every day. This is Mark Zuckerberg's wardrobe. You see, dark gray hoodie, gray shirt, same outfit every day. Why are these leaders doing that, right? Because they want to limit their decisions they have to take in the morning. They don't want to decide what they want to wear because scientists have found out that we have a limited number of good decisions during the day, right? So they don't want to waste their good decisions by deciding what they want to wear. It's true. So if you are in a very hierarchical organization and you have to run to your boss to decide on everything, advice here, go there in the morning because then some good decisions are left with your boss, right? Otherwise, you will have some bad decisions. Anyway, if we talk about decisions, we should have a mental model about decisions. There are different kind of decisions that we have to take. And I always use this decision tree. So there are these leaf decisions. Leaf decisions are no real risk in their decisions. Then there are branch decisions. And branch decisions, it's some risk, but can be mitigated. You can go back and reverse those decisions. And then there are trunk decisions. Trunk are the really heavy decisions that it's really hard to turn them back. If you once run into that direction, it's really hard to go back and make another turn. So these are the very hard decisions. So for the leaf decisions, it's pretty simple. You decide. It's your if you want to build in caching into your feature or not, that's your decision. Maybe write it down. Maybe tell the team, but it's your decision. That's the leaf decision to move on fast. The branch decisions are, hey, which front-end technology should we use? Yada yada yada. It's a decision that you take. You can't turn that back. It's a little bit harder to get that out again, but yeah. And that's a decision that the team has to take. But also here, document that the team has taken this decision and go on. Well, what's with the trunk decision if you have to drive a real trunk decision? Well, it's a playbook, so there's a play for it, and it's called DACI. So you're doing a DACI to make that trunk decision. And it actually goes like this. So DACI is, again, an acronym, and it stands for A, like approver. So define one approver, one person that approves the decision. Then have one driver. If you want to be the one in charge, you want to get this decision made, you're the driver, right? You're the one that really puts everyone out, that writes down the pros and cons of each solution here. So you're the driver. And then you have the contributors, people that decide with you, that have stake in the game, that are dependent on that decision. These are the contributors. And then very, very important, you have the informed people, the people that just need to be informed. You don't have to listen to their opinions. They just need to know that this decision has been taken. They also have opinions, but you don't have to listen to them. It's just the contributors that you have to listen to, right? So, wrap this up. You have one approver, one driver, multiple contributors, and the people that get informed. And this is a DACI. So how do you run a DACI? I'll give you an example of a DACI that Atlassian took. Atlassian announced 1.5 years ago that they have this desktop Trello app, right? So you have a desktop app on your Mac or your Windows PC, which is actually basically a web view of Trello with some added functionality. So, and that's actually what they wanted to decide. They were done with it. All features were in the web view. I mean the web app anyway. So they don't necessarily had to develop the desktop app anymore. So they wrote that down and say, hey, it's normal feature complete here. What should we do? Well, how should we decide? So they put in their approvers, their drivers, and contributors. And the cool thing is, when you put it in Confluence, is that you mention people and they automatically get a notification and they're watching the page, so they are informed when this decision has been taken, or can comment on it, or can contribute to it. So they wrote down the pros and cons, the different options. They laid out the different options. And then at the end, they decided for one option. The driver did it and then went to the approver approved it, page got updated, everybody was informed, everybody was on the same page that this decision has been taken. So, DACIs, very, very good for aligning everyone that this decision has been made and what are the pros and cons of this decision. It's in a very transparent way, everyone can see it, everyone gets updated, and you can push it forward in a timely manner. Because everyone gets updated, you don't need to call in a meeting or something. You just go to the approver and the decision is approved and everyone is aligned. So you can do it in a timely manner. All right, play number 4. Play number 4 is an interesting one. I really love retrospectives, which is another play in the Team Playbook, how to do a retrospective. But it's not about that. What I like with the retrospective is that I look back and say, okay, I learned something from what we've done, the good and the bad things, and from the bad things, I can improve for the next project. But if I improve for the next project, for my current project, that is actually too late, right? I can make mistakes in my current project. How can I avoid mistakes in my current project, right? I want to actually fix things before they actually happen. But how can I do that? How can I fix things before they happen, right? I grew up in the 80s, and there was a favorite movie with a time machine in it. So we travel back in the past, fix things, go back into the now, and the things are fixed. Isn't great? So let's go back in the past with our DeLorean, and then we can say, okay, we make different decision here. We can take a shortcut here. This is not necessary. We can skip these extra steps. Well, to be honest with you, there's no play that gives you DeLorean, so and you can't be Marty McFly and travel back in the past, unfortunately. It's not there, but there's another play. And it helps you to travel not in the past, but travel into the future and see your project in the future. And it's called a premortem. So with a premortem, you're trying to think about how will things be in the future if we deliver our software. I give you the step-by-step guide here how you do it. So first, you have to prepare the people that take part of the premortem. So you should ask the question, hey, what could actually slow us down, right? What could slow us down in the current project? What could make us nervous? What makes us already nervous, actually? Write that down. What could actually stop us? What could hold us back? What's a real stopper here? The step 2 would be you set the stage. You say, okay, well, guess it's now June 2019, think, and we launched this cool new product. Now, you have two groups. One said, yeah, it's been great. The product is a totally success. We rocked it. Actually, we put in some extra features that we wouldn't have thought of. And then you have the failure group that says, oh, there was a disaster. Everything failed. The system broke. And then let them write that down. So divide the group and write that down. Have the success group and have the failure group and write those things down that could fail or that could be a totally success. And then, of course, you want to diversify that a little bit. So switch the boards and then let the success group look at the failure ones and the failure group at the win ones. What you do then is vote for the three most things that probably would happen or that can really make a difference, positive things that can make a difference. So if your top three, so you vote for them. And then you should plan these into your development and change the plan. And it's actually pretty amazing. Teams that said, we are doing great. We're awesome. We are totally confident that we deliver the software in time with a feature promise. They came out of a premortem and said, oh my God, we are doomed. We're doomed. Everything will fail. Oh no, really. It's a very eye-opening session for some teams. So try a premortem and predict the future. Of course, there are 26 plays in the playbook. You shouldn't try them all. You shouldn't use them all. It's like putting all design patterns into your software. Doesn't work either. Shouldn't do that. But you should pick the right ones, right? If you see a problem, you should pick the right ones. So let me tell you a little bit of story here. The Confluence collaborative editing team. So Confluence put collaborative editing that you could edit pages at the same time. They announced it, I think, back in 2013 somewhere, or 14, on a big stage. 2 years into the project didn't deliver. Customers were waiting. The project team was very frustrating. 3 years into the project, we already burned 2 project managers and 2 dev managers through the project. The team was very frustrated. It took another year actually that we burned actually 4 project managers, 3 designers, and 2 dev managers through the project. So you could imagine that the team was not happy about it. They didn't deliver, right? They were promising, but they didn't deliver. Very, very frustrating. So a team lead came and said, let's try out some plays here. So the first thing they did is they put on a project posters. And they were pretty amazed that they had to limit the scope because they were not on the same page. Some people thought, whoa, we shouldn't do that? Really? This is not in the feature scope? Great. Even though the team worked day to day together, it was a project poster that told them what to do and what the real problem they want to solve. So that limited their scope, which was pretty eye-opening. They did a couple of DACIs, so some decisions that were laying there, nobody wanted to take it. They did some DACIs, but that was not the thing. The thing was actually the discussion they had, the pros and cons discussion that were very fruitful for them to get on the same page. And then they actually did a premortem, and half a year before they launched, and they found out they totally forgot to put analytics into the collaborative editing. So they wanted to do the cloud version first, so they could learn from it, but they totally forgot to put in analytics. And that came up in the premortem that they should put it in. And half a year later, they actually launched the first prototype. Everyone was happy. Not with the first version, but with the second version. But the team was happy that they actually delivered something. So a happy team, happy collaborative editing, thanks to some plays that they just played. Now back to software here. How do we make sure our software is stable, mature, running on the system? Yeah, we're doing automated software tests, right? We're running some tests with our software. Every new feature, every new change get tested automatically. Great. We know that our software is in great shape, right? But what about your team? The team that builds the software, how do you test the team, that the team is in good shape, that the team is running all right? Any guesses? Well, of course, there's a fifth play here, and it's called the Team Health Monitor. And the Team Health Monitor helps you to really diagnose your team, to test your team, to see is the team in a good shape, in good health. Have we thought about everything? And there are 3 different health monitors for 3 different types of teams. There's one for leadership team, there's one for service team, and there's one for project team. And I show you the one for the project team. So it's simply 8 checkpoints that you do with your team. We at Atlassian change the checkpoints frequently and then mature them. And these are the 8 checkpoints that around 1,000 health monitors that we have done, we matured them, and these are the current checkpoints that we do with the teams. So we ask the questions. Does this team have, this project team have a full-time owner that owns the project, that really works on that project? Is that an owner? Is the team balanced? Do I have the right people in my team to get stuff done? Do I have a shared understanding? Do I know what the outcome should be? Do we all know what the outcome should be? Do we know the problem that we want to solve? Do we have values and metrics in place to measure success? Do we know how success look like? Do we have a proof of concept? Or are we just working on something that we think will work? Do we know it will work? Is there a proof of concept somewhere? Or we are pretty confident that this will work? Do we have a proof of concept? Do we have something written down, a one-pager, probably a project poster that scopes out the project, the goal of the project? Is there something that I can point people to? Do I know all dependencies? Maybe I need the legal team for something with GDPR or so. Do I have all those dependencies figured out, right? And have I slotted them in? And then how's the velocity? How am I tracking? So these are actually the 8 checkpoints for better team health that we figure out. And so how this health monitor session works is just like you're getting your team together, one room, and then ask the questions, do you think we have a full-time owner? And then it's just basically thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down. And then you ask the next questions, do you think we have a balanced team? Thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down. Then you look at it, discuss it, and then decide for some color, some traffic light color. And you can run those health monitor in different environments. Here, a team does that on a whiteboard, simply with Post-its. Another team does it in Confluence, or documented in Confluence also. Of course, the Trello team is using Trello for it. The Trello team is a little special because it's a very distributed team, so a lot of remote people in the Trello team. So what they do is they sit in their remote video conference session, have a Trello board, and then they say, now, do you think we have a full-time owner? 1, 2, 3, add your card now. So people are adding the cards simultaneously, so they don't get influenced by each other, and then fill out the Trello board or the health monitor Trello board like this. Or what you also can do is, Atlassian has these card sets, and I brought a few with me, so 10 card sets or so. It's a little bit like this planning poker game where you also said red, yellow, green, and you can use those play cards for running your team health monitor. And then you write that down, put that on a page, and you should track it over time. Do that regularly, every second week, every month, whatever works for you. And then you can see improvements or where you should improve or where you get worse, stuff like that. So, Team Health Monitor is great for diagnosing your team. But when you find out that you don't have a full-time owner or you're lacking dependencies, what can you do? How can you fix that? Well, you already learned that. The plays are a little bit the medicine for the sickness you have in your team, right? You can solve that by running some plays. We have put it doesn't really work like this, but we have put some recommendations what you can do together. Also on the Team Health on the Team Playbook side, you can go there, watch that, try it out, try out the plays, and fix things in your team. Now. as I said in the beginning also, you're not Atlassian. You probably have different stuff working in your team. But I can just encourage you to take some stuff, maybe also from the Team Playbook, and take some stuff from your own teams that is working, and build your own Team Playbook. Also, take this place and totally make them your own. You're different. Your team is different. Your organization is different. Your projects are different. So make them your own. Build your own company's Team Playbook. All right, I was saying that different teams, different projects, same process. I'm not against processes at all. I mean, processes are a good thing. If you have a proven thing that is repeatable, processes are great. I'm flying back tomorrow, and I don't want the pilot to try out new stuff during takeoff. Please not. Stick to the process. Processes are good. Processes helps you also when you have incidents, right? Incidents, everything is in chaos. You have to solve something. Have a process in place, how you communicate with your users. So Atlassian has this incident handbook where they already know, okay, we have to inform the users every hour, we have to tell them. So there's a process in place for that, and it's great. So processes are great if you want to do things right? But it's not projects. Running software projects is not just about doing things right. It's more about doing the right things. And in order to do the right things, you should adapt to the new situation. And no process can help you with that. You should see what's the problem and solve it yourself, right, in your team. Why? Because teams are different, projects are different, and problems are different. There is no one process that rules them all, that fixes everything. So I can just encourage you to identify your problem. This is the most tricky thing here, to say really and admit we have a problem here, and we need to solve that. This is the most important or the most tricky thing here. Then the next thing would be find a play, find a solution, find something that helps fixing that problem, and then just solve it. Because we want to get stuff done, or as our co-founder, Atlassian's co-founders Mike Cannon-Brooks now said it, now go and get shit done, right? That's it. Thank you very much. All right, just come down to me if you have questions. Otherwise, enjoy the party.